Steve Waugh's highest score so far of the limited overs series. He's moved to 36. Alan Border on 6. Rich, I was just thinking that it's probably a good thing that they didn't have those T-shirts in the days when, certainly when I was playing. It would be a little embarrassing to have one Doug Walters shirt swap for 10 of yours.
Indeed it would. Doug Walters has his name and his career commemorated here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The Doug Walters stand is away over on the hill, where not only he received a tremendous amount of support, but he gave them a terrific amount of pleasure. Great favourite at the SCG, Doug Walters.
Wasim Akram looks like he's on the short run there. Because there haven't been too many more popular cricketers than Dougie Walters, it might have been a bit hard battling against the Doug Walters T-shirt.
That stand is just about packed out today. One or two areas top right, not completely filled, but they will have been sold, the tickets for those areas. It's a big crowd here at the SCG.
One of the problems that Pakistan have had in this this series, and it must be very disappointing to them to be World Cup champions and then really just not give a good account of themselves in this World Series competition. I think they may have benefited from having a bowling captain in Imran Khan, whereas Javed, the man who's taken over from him, is batting captain, and I think he tends to let the bowlers just do basically what they want to do, and sometimes they get a bit carried away. Wasim not so much, but the other two quickies, Akib and Waqar, tend to do what they want to do.
Tell you one thing about Javed, if he batted against the field placings he sets, he'd make a trillion.
It was a good example in the game at the MCG where Akib, I thought, was bowling extremely well, pitching the ball up, and suddenly Waqar came on at the other end, bowled a couple of short lifting deliveries, and Akib went mad at the other end, bowling short stuff and bowled a load of rubbish after that. I don't think it's the sort of stuff that that Imran would have allowed. I think he would have had a very quick word to them and settled them down.
Three pace bowlers in this Pakistan side. Akib, who's on your screen at the moment, then Wasim Akram, who is the bowler, and Waqar Yunus. Waqar and Wasim, two outstanding bowlers, two of the greats you'd ever find in any era.
Really is a comedy of errors, the fielding. It's 4 for 193. .39 to Steve Waugh as he prepares to face Wasim Akram. Wasim not totally happy with his field placing.
Neatly played by Steve Waugh. There is another aspect of selection on that Australian scorecard, right down the bottom of the list. It concerns Dodder Maiden rifle. Now, rifle has been talked about as a distinct possibility for England, where the pitches will suit his type of seam bowling. Dodder Maid has suddenly come back into the side, having been chosen to go to Sri Lanka, and there'll be some pressure there as well. And all that comes at the same moment as the three left-arm quick bowlers in Australia, Bruce Reid, Mike Whitney and Chris Matthews from Tasmania, are all on the injured list. Matthews is going for a fitness test before the Sheffield Shield game this weekend. Reid is out with his shoulder injury, and Whitney had the misfortune to break a toe.
Wasim Akram yet to take a a wicket against Australia in this series. He's got his 9 against the West Indies. Brings up the 200 in the 44th over.
The crowd between 25 and 30,000, I would think, here at the SCG today. Appreciative of the Australians' efforts after Border has won the toss and batted.
And Wasim Akram saw Border backing away and followed him. It's 4 for 201.
Welcome back to the Sydney Cricket Ground. The crowd abuzz here. The Australians pushed to 4 for 215 with 5 overs to be bowled. Well, really, Wasim Akram just ambling up to the wicket here, not bending the back at all. And Steve Waugh picks up an easy single.
In fact, it's worked quite well for Wasim Akram. Those are quite decent figures considering it's in the 9th over that he's started now. He's only gone for 21 so far. He's realised that trying to rush in at full pace on this wicket isn't necessarily going to be productive. That last ball was a slower than slow ball.
Border cuts. Now at deep point, that brings up the 50-run partnership in good time.
It's a very good partnership indeed from these two batsmen. It's the sort of wicket, this strip here at the SCG, that sometimes favours the medium pacer. When the balls get older as well, the ball doesn't come onto the bat as much as the batsman would like.
It's in the air, it's wide, a third man, it goes all the way. That was a quicker one, or under it, over the top of slip cord, always going to be 4.
And that in many ways proves the point. Wasim Akram bent the back a bit further this time, got this ball through a lot more quickly, and Steve Waugh was able to use the pace of the ball and the bounce just to engineer this shot, get it away to third man, where when the ball was coming to him at more medium pace, it was harder to get away.
No ball, and that's 4 more. The Australians lifting their strike rate in these final overs as we expect. 6 wickets in hand.
That's a lovely piece of timing from Steve Waugh, as if to try and disprove the previous point. Akram this time bowling the slower ball. Waugh picked it up beautifully cleanly, just found the gap perfectly. And once again, this ball just races away off that outfield.
Dad, captain and wicketkeeper today. It could be 4 more. That's in the gap. Coming around the square man, picks it up. 2 more to Waugh. Placed that beautifully between the fine leg and the backward square leg.
And in fact, it was Inzamam ul Haq down at deep square leg. Made good ground. And this is a lovely throw. Not everything's been bad from Pakistan here today by a long, long way. It's quite a long distance.
Full pitch. Down to long on. Border 3 for 1. Misfield. Border comes back. There's been some good fielding. There's been some very ordinary fielding. That's when you need to lift, back the bowlers. So Hale fumbles.
That outfield is very hard down in the area in front of the Noble stand. A bit of a nasty bobble for Amasa Hale.
He hits, he's got to be out surely. Doesn't throw. 15 off the over. Why didn't you throw it, says Wasim Akram. 4 for 230. Welcome back to the Sydney Cricket Ground. Plenty of excitement here. Australia 6 for 230 after 47 overs. Alan Border 18. Matthews yet to score. Wasim Akram from the members' end. Akram bowling his final over to Alan Border. Border plays and misses outside the line.
Border will be disappointed there. He made room for the shot. It's an area where he is very strong.
That's beautifully bowled. Seeing two fine bowlers in operation here. Not giving Border any width there, firing at leg stump.
Yes. Both these bowlers suddenly showing some new life. Just looking at that ball which just missed Ian Healy. This really was the perfect in-swinging Yorker. You see it go late. It's the swing that really does Ian Healy as much as the pace of the delivery. And when this ball changes line like that, that's when it's really hard work for the batsman, especially first ball. Border finally making contact. Decides to go to the other side of the field, aiming at the leg side this time.
Wasim Akram, as David Gower's already pointed out, just slowing the pace of the ball down here. Greg Chappell was a fine example of that. Just bowl very slow medium paces on a wicket, make the batsman make all the running. Matthews gets the full pitch. It's a fine, through for a single. But for the call, could be a leg by. No, a run. So Matthews off the mark. May have been an attempted Yorker there. It was very, very full.
Actually quite short.
No wonder I'm having trouble with the LBs. 6 for 233, in fact, a bit short. That's a leg by. Pakistan have done well. It looked like 280 at one stage. 112 run partnership between Boone and Taylor.
I think it was probably just the light reflecting on the wicket there, Bill, that might have deceived you.
It's well played. Matthews busy. With Border there, running hard. 6 for 235.